If you enjoy mocking Stephen Miller as much as I do, then you're really going to enjoy this story because the most insecure man in America has found something brand new to be insecure about. And it's literally all anyone online is talking about right now. We're going to break it all down and explain how Stephen Miller's big announcement, which was supposed to be full of excitement and fun, has instead turned into a complete and total humiliation, especially when it comes to his wife, who, frankly, is a terrible person. I feel obligated to say sorry. Actually, no, I'm not sorry at all, Katie Miller. But we'll get into all of it. Before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, please hit that subscribe button because it genuinely helps support our work. Now, before we dive into this breaking news and this absolutely hilarious Stephen Miller story, I want to start with the other reason he's been especially angry lately, and that has everything to do with the 60-minute segment that Bari Weiss conveniently ran cover for on behalf of Donald Trump. Why does that matter? Because Stephen Miller wasn't allowed on air, and he's still clearly very upset about it.
And you have these 60-minute producers who are living in comfort and security in their West End condos trying to make us feel sympathetic for these monsters? Have you seen the tattoos, the face tattoos, the body tattoos on these killers? Would one 60 Minutes producer or writer agree to spend 30 minutes? I'll make a deal. We will pick someone at random that we sent to CCOT, just a random lottery drawing, and they will spend one day overnight in your apartment. Who is taking that deal at 60 Minutes? Nobody. Because they know that these are monsters who got exactly what they deserved.
He's still furious at 60 Minutes, just to be clear, because they wouldn't let him go on air and openly spew bigotry, which is exactly what Stephen Miller wanted to do. And what I think really matters in the context of all of this, and the story we're about to get into, is that MAGA seems to believe they're always entitled to airtime. That simply isn't true. We are not obligated to hear both sides in every situation, nor are we required to treat Stephen Miller with any particular respect. And honestly, this story is so funny to me because it is deeply disrespectful to Stephen Miller, as it should be. This is a man who constantly demands to be heard, and we should not have to live in a media environment where Stephen Miller is guaranteed equal time just because he demands it. He doesn't deserve a platform. He doesn't deserve airtime to lie and spread propaganda on behalf of Donald Trump. At least not on a legitimate network, which CBS under Bari Weiss arguably no longer is. Fox News, of course, is a different story because Stephen Miller is welcome there and allowed to lie freely while trying to paper over his own insecurities. Insecurities that, as I've said, are only about to get much worse.
And you listed a lot of those things, and you know, the lower inflation and gas prices are key to all of that. But there is polling that shows that there remains some frustration among consumers or voters. What does the White House have to do to reach those people or make changes so that those people feel better? And obviously they're getting lied to by the media, which has always been a problem for Republicans. But what can the White House do to either fix things so that they feel better or convince them that the situation is better?
Well, I think the most important point of all, and look, the polling shows overwhelming support for President Trump across every single issue and dimension. But the most important point to hammer over and over again, under Trump 1, no inflation. Biden comes in,
right,
devastates the economy. We have double-digit inflation overall from when Biden entered to when Biden left. Prices went up 30% in 4 years. Donald Trump comes back in, and inflation is down to near benchmark rates of 2% within months. How's that even possible? I mean, we knew the man was an economic wizard. But Charlie, how do you get inflation from 30% to almost 2% in a few months? He defied what everybody said was possible.
So Stephen Miller wasn't allowed on 60 Minutes. He lost his mind. So did Bari Weiss. Stephen Miller is also freaking out lately about how he claims he's banned from CNN. Again, what entitles you to be on CNN? But with all of this in mind, you would say things not too great for Stephen Miller, but just had a big announcement. Stephen and Katie, they're expecting another child. Oh, what a joyous thing until the internet took hold. Because as you can remember, hopefully, one of the most upsetting stories for Stephen Miller last year was the fact that Elon Musk took his wife out of the Trump administration. Katie Miller, before she became a failed podcaster, was working for Elon, and it started a lot of rumors of, the fact that Elon is a little promiscuous, to say the least, and he has a lot of kids. Could something be going on there? And so this announcement that Stephen Miller made, just turned into a total humiliation, and the internet's abuzz. Katie Miller's pregnancy reveal gives new life to Musk rumors. Failed podcast host Katie Miller's New Year's Eve pregnancy announcement has been hijacked by social media post-invoking rumors about her former boss, Elon Musk. Katie Miller, 34. Announced on Wednesday that she and her husband, Stephen Miller, the controversial White House Deputy Chief of Staff, are expecting their fourth child together. Katie shared the news in a social media post with a photo of the couple on the red carpet at Donald Trump's New Year's Eve party at Mar-a-Lago, with Katie cradling her baby bump. "Happy New Year," the post was captioned. However, the couple's baby news immediately triggered a rush of questions and trolling about the unfounded rumors that Katie Miller's relationship with the world's richest man extended beyond the workplace. In December 2024, Miller began working for Musk's Doge Squad, hired under the same special government employee status as her boss. She was appointed to the President's Intelligence Advisory Board in February before announcing in June that she was leaving the White House to work full-time for Musk following his very public and bitter breakup with the president. On Reddit, internet detectives tried to draw salacious conclusions between the timeline of Miller leaving Musk's employment and her New Year's Eve pregnancy announcement. Get out the DNA kit. One Reddit user posted in a forum about the news. Reed Galen, co-founder of the anti-MAGA Lincoln Project, shared Miller's post with the caption, "Elon is at it again." Apparently, the Tesla boss has fathered 14 children that we know of. Some online comments were referred to a cuck chair that Stephen Miller might have been in on May 30th after his wife left the White House. The Democratic Party's official Twitter account trolled Trump's top aide by tagging him with an image of an empty chair facing an empty bed, or "I don't want to suspect maybe Katie and Elon engaged in some activities. This is just some good old-fashioned fun." Now, is Katie Miller having Elon Musk baby? No. But also, I don't know. Is there a non-zero chance? I don't know. We don't even need to get in that. It's just funny. And when Stephen Miller, one of, if not the most vile figure in our politics, demands that we take him seriously and have to listen to him all the time, I also think Stephen Miller should then be forced to hear us talk about how his wife's baby might not be his. I think it's important. We should be mocking Stephen Miller. We should be getting him upset. And of course, especially as the MAGA coalition is falling apart, and things are looking increasingly grim for Donald Trump, hopefully in many more ways than one, as Jen Psaki broke down right here.
Now, the bad news at the start of this new year is that Trump and his top aides appear to think last year was awesome and want more of the same or worse. They are celebrating their work as a job well done. That is, of course, the bad news, the very bad news. The good news is that 2026 also means the people of this country have an opportunity to make their voices heard at the ballot box and send a clear message to the Trump administration. While Trump himself may not literally be on the ballot this year, although people will certainly be thinking about him at the ballot box, if Democrats can win back even one chamber of Congress and break Trump's trifecta, his total control over the branches of our government, that would not only slow down Trump's agenda, but it could be very bad news for the Trump cabinet members who have been carrying it out. That's happening later this year. My first guest today, Congressman Eric Swalwell, recently said the Democrats should be telegraphing what they could do to Trump officials if the American public votes Democrats back into power just 10 months from now. Things like defunding Trump officials, holding them in contempt, even potentially impeaching them to hold them accountable for their actions and stymie the awful and unlawful parts of the Trump agenda. Congressman Swalwell brought up that idea while specifically discussing what Democrats should do about Attorney General Pam Bondi, now that she and the Trump administration have blown through the legal deadline for turning over all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein. But I want to know if Congressman Swalwell thinks Democrats should be telegraphing that same idea when it comes to the rest of the Trump's cabinet, because there's certainly a lot of them who have a lot to be held accountable for. Joining me now is Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell of California, a member of the House Judiciary Committee. He's now a candidate for governor of California. Okay, I mean, there's so much to get to. We're only 2 days into January here.
Well, Happy New Year, Jen.
Happy New Year to you, too. So let me start with what you said this weekend. I mean, this weekend you spoke about the powers that Democrats would have to hold Trump officials accountable if they retook even just a single chamber of Congress. Yeah. So walk us through. I mean, what Democrats could do to hold Trump officials accountable if they retook the House. Obviously, the Senate is addition onto that, but just the House. Walk us through what they could do.
Yeah. Well, first, let me just tell you, on costs and affordability, we have the ability to reverse the tariffs. We have the ability to put the Affordable Care Act subsidies back in place. That has to be the priority. And I watched as Speaker Pelosi, in her second term as Speaker, the last 2 years of Donald Trump's first term, she picked that guy's wallet every single time to claw back the damage he had done in the first 2 years. So I expect Speaker Jeffries to do the same. But on accountability, the truth is Republicans don't think we have the balls to do it. They think that we will be nice and modest and kind. And if we telegraph now, no, you're coming to the Judiciary Committee, the Oversight Committee, the Homeland Security Committee, the truth is going to come out. We're using the subpoena power. We're seeking accountability. All the dirty deals that were done by law firms, by university presidents, by entertainment companies, we are going to seek to understand all of it. We have the power to restrict funding if we need to. If we telegraph that now, we may not reverse the deals that were done in the past, but we may stop the next drug deal that the president is cooking up right now.
And he's also shown, what's so interesting about this to me is he's also shown he's not exactly going to protect all of these people, which I don't think they're all digesting. So you brought this up in the context of Pam Bondi and the Justice Department not following the law and releasing all of their files related to Jeffrey Epstein. Let's focus on her for a moment. I mean, what does accountability for her look like to you? And what would you hope that Democrats in the House who are in positions of power ask for or request, or what to do to hold her accountable?
Well, what I would first do is exercise the power of the purse that Congress has. And we can do this right now, by the way, Jen, right? Like almost every member of Congress, essentially 534 to 1 between the House and the Senate, voted to release the Epstein files and gave it a deadline that they have not met. We could do this right now. We could restrict the funding at the Department of Justice if they were actually doing their job and going after terrorism and money laundering and sex trafficking. You know, maybe that restricted funding would hurt them, but they're using their funding right now to go after the president's enemies. And so I would say put DOJ funding on the table and say that is something we're willing to restrict if we don't get the Epstein file.
This is the current state of MAGA. Everything is unraveling for Donald Trump. He's being hit from all sides. Quiet quitting, loud quitting, resignations, and even the bizarre chaos surrounding Stephen Miller's illegitimate children. I mean, at this point, it's almost absurd, and honestly, it is funny. We are absolutely allowed to mock Stephen Miller, and we are going to keep doing exactly that on this show. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you made it to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.